a coterie of supervillains.
Why?
My coterie of supervillains is 6 feet fucking under.
There, you see? Batman doesn't kill people.
Because he's a pussy.
He's a dark creature of the night.
He's a jackass who wrestles with murderers dressed like clowns and throws them in prison so they can break out of prison and then murder more people. Riddle me this. How many people you think Batman's indirectly murdered by being too much of a candy ass not to kill these fools who clearly need to be smoked once and for all, you wrinkly, Shar-Pei-looking dimension-infested fuck?
Jesus. I was just trying to make conversation.
And here we go.
It's the comic book bullies.
Man, you come right out of a comic book.
It's the comic book bullies.
You will bow down before me!
It's the comic book bullies.
Now I am the master.
It's the comic book bullies. It's the comic book bullies. Welcome back to the Comic Book Bullies with Nurse New Bully. I'm your host Leroy, aka Arisham's Design, with my co-host.
Yeah, this is Eli, aka Eli Onassis.
There you go. I feel like that's biblical, but okay, we'll go with that. Yeah, and we're back with the episode. And Eli, man, and you know how sometimes like it's a fast week, and we're just right back in. Sometimes like a very, very long week where it just seems like it just took forever, and I almost forget what you look like. You know, this is one of those weeks. I won't get into it, you know why, but I'll talk about it later on. But man, this was a long, exhausting, stressful week for me. But now we're back recording again, and we're just gonna jump into it and just get into the good stuff on it. Matter of fact, we actually got a full show, so we're just gonna just jump into it. No,
well, are you fully recovered, or are you still contagious?
Oh, are we talking about? Okay, I'll talk about it. I reason I didn't want to.
I'm just saying, I had no idea you had it last week. We did the show last week.
I'll talk about it. Okay, yes. For those that don't, I won't say it out loud because I want to get flagged and anything like that because people are tripping on that. I had the Unicron, the Amarion, whatever you want to call it. I had that. The Rona. I had that. So I had that actually while we were recording the show last week. So you want to see what somebody looked like recording a podcast on Rona?
No clue. I had no clue.
It's like the I want to brag and say it was like the Michael Jordan, flu game, but it wasn't that. I rewatched that podcast, guy. I was like, oh shit, yeah, I look like I had it. So it was cool. I was still able to make it through it. So I won't say I won't say I'm fully recovered, but I'm good enough to record this show now. But the good thing is we're social distance. Don't worry. Eli is nowhere near me right now. He was nowhere near me last week.
Yeah.
So he didn't have to get tested or anything like that. You don't have to get tested by listeners. Oh shit, I listen to Comic Bullies podcast. Do I need to get checked out? Like, no, you're fine. You're okay. Let's see. What do we have here? DP fan, Moon Knight show. DP fan. Yes. I'm hoping that it's Deadpool. Because we are a family podcast. Yeah, but that's what we're gonna talk about. So I'm in the middle of getting fully recovered, but I took off all week. Matter of fact, they just put me on leave of absence when it happened. I actually did get tested. That's how I know what would happen, because when I recorded Saturday and Sunday, I didn't know, but I was in bed all week and pretty much got out of bed just to record the podcast. Recorded the podcast, edited it, went back to sleep. Next day, got tested. Like, oh yeah, I got it. Because at first I thought it was some bad Arby's. That's when it happened. I had some bad Arby's.
Did you have like the gastrial kind or what?
Do I got to go through all the symptoms today? What's going on?
That sucks. Hey, all these people, what up, everybody?
Yeah, okay. I'll just talk about just my affliction level like that. Okay, so what happened was I lost my appetite for like 3 days. I couldn't taste anything. The only thing I could taste was that Arby's that I ate in Friday, and it was still in my mouth. I still tasted it on Monday. I was like, okay, that's some bad Arby, but it turns out I just lost my sense of taste. That's all it was. So, fever. Matter of fact, I was sweating. If you watched the podcast last week, I was actually like dabbing my head a little bit because I was sweating while we were podcasting. That's what I'm saying. This was not the Michael Jordan flu game. This was not that. Whatever the opposite of that was, that's what that was. Let's see. Arby's. Yes, I ate some Arby's. I'm the only person in the world that eats Arby's. I ate some Arby's, and that's when everything went to hell. Let's see what we got. Moon Knight gives me Jason Bourne loss of identity. They want to talk about Moon Knight. They don't want to hear about this.
Yeah,
you know what? You know what? I don't even want to talk about it. Let's talk about Moon Knight. Let's just jump into that. We don't want to talk about this shit. Let's just jump into it. But before we get to Moon Knight, we're gonna bring back an old classic. Eli, we're bringing back the box office numbers because people have been asking about it, and we just completely just discarded it because nobody goes to see movies anymore, you know. But we're gonna bring it back this time because there's been some mix-up and changes in the movie theater. So, Eli, give it to me. What is the number one movie of the week?
I don't know. Is it Scream again?
It is not.
Oh, okay.
I just did it just to fuck with you. So actually, is that right? That is not right.
Sing 2? Oh, Spider-Man. Oh,
Spider-Man.
okay.
Yeah. So that's the thing. So Scream was number one last week, and then Spider-Man jumped back over it again. So just that quick. So it was Spider-Man. We don't know. I think Spider-Man is at like 1.7 million right now. I'm sorry, 1.7 billion right now. It is not going to catch Endgame. It's not going to catch Infinity War. Why? Because it was not released in China, and we're still in the middle of a pandemic. But why is everybody going to see Spider-Man over 3, 4, 5 times or like that? I have no idea. I'm pretty sure everybody's already seen Spider-Man. Eli, how long is this thing going to go? Is it going to be like in March and Spider-Man still going to be number one at the box office? Because nobody is seeing anything else.
Well,
nobody
this
saw anything
is old
before
school, or
Spider-Man.
like you can't watch it on TV yet or any streaming service yet.
But I'm just saying, nobody was watching movies before Spider-Man. Nobody was going to the movies. They might go see a movie here and there, but for the most part, people were just staying at home. Nobody was making this is the first $1 billion movie in like 2 or 3 years. You know,
I mean, the
fact
that it's during the pandemic, it's quite
with no China release. Like this is insane. So I'm just thinking like maybe it's just gonna just keep going. Like it's gonna be the number one. It's just gonna be number one for the rest of 2022. Nobody's gonna see anything. Batman's coming out in March. Nope, Spider-Man's still gonna beat it. So that's what I'm thinking. But that means that even though we're not here to talk about Spider-Man, we've already talked at length, ad nauseum about Spider-Man. We're going to talk about the number 2 movie of the week, even though it came out last week. Honestly, Eli, I'm so glad you didn't see it last week because our show was packed with so much stuff I want to talk about. We talk about Peacemaker, talk about Naomi, stuff like that. That's just been another thing we had to talk about. And I was like, that's just too much. But now, since there's nothing going on, we can talk about it. Because you talked about, we can talk about Scream. Let me see what we got here. That new Spider-Man has nostalgic fake money.
That's the thing. Everything
That's the thing, and that's it. I'm so glad you brought that up because that's exactly what we were about to talk about. Not about Spider-Man, but about nostalgia bait. It's you keeping them in business. I'm not anymore. If that's what if Arby's did give me the Rona or the Marion, I'm not keeping them in business anymore after that. So yeah. Anyway, let's talk about what we're gonna talk about. You saw a movie. We're gonna talk about Scream. It was number 1 last week, is number 2 this week, but we can jump into it and see exactly what you saw, Eli. So we'll go ahead and give you a review on it. What you think about it?
It's another Scream movie. You know,
Cool.
So if you like Scream movies, this is another one. And like Spider-Man, it's nostalgia bait. It does the same shit Spider-Man does the same shit The Matrix does. It's just makes meta references to all
same
the old
shit Ghostbusters did.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, Ghostbusters. It's nostalgia. Reboot. They call it a requel. I never heard that until Scream said it. Requel.
A requel. That it's
a requel.
Movies have done it before because technically Creed is that.
Yeah.
If you think about it.
Yeah. A reboot / sequel / whatever. But they talk about that. I mean, there's a conversation that basically is, nostalgia bait saw. Yeah, that's all it ever was. You know, even the original Scream was basically poking fun at 80s slasher movies.
Well, Scream was the first. Well, I won't say it was the first. It was like one of the first meta movies. One of the first deconstructions that were out there.
Kind of, yeah.
Now,
horror,
personally, I think the first deconstruction big blockbuster movie out there was Last Action Hero. That's just me, which came out like 2 or 3 years. Everybody sleeps on that movie. We're going to do a review on it one day, Eli. Not today, but we will. But Scream was right at a time when deconstruction came around, where, you know, movie tropes were a thing. People started spotting them. And that's kind of what's made Scream separate itself from other movies. Even though after it named every single trope in movies, it just did those tropes in that same movie. So, I don't know. That's just me. But
yeah, that's every Scream movie pretty much did that. It deconstructed the tropes
The
of horror
sequel,
movies.
the trilogy, the remake,
Yeah, the final girl, what the killer's motive, all that shit. I am not the biggest Scream fan. I will admit that I loved the first movie a lot the first time I saw it, but then my girlfriend at the time watched it all the time, and it burned me out. And I also blame Scream for ruining horror in the '90s, but I'm not going to get into that right now. That's
so I
that's a
gotta
whole other
ask. So
that's a whole other podcast.
okay, so if Scream has done this much damage, your personal life and horror movies and all stuff like that, why even bother seeing it?
Well,
The new one.
I mean, I've kind of relaxed over my kid. My kid got into them, like, when he was younger, and I gave him a fresh look. And they are just to me, they're comedies. They're parodies. It's like kind of like Scary Movie in a way. They're just poking fun at horror. And I get the references. So, and that's what I get out of it. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan. I don't know the lore. Don't ask me about Cotton this and Billy Loomis is that and all that shit. I don't know. But as far as
the
like
thing about Scream 3 is that it's a whole Me Too movie before Me Too was a thing.
Yeah.
The whole movie is about the casting couch. Like if you see, that's the thing, Eli. I'm not to interrupt you on your movie. You keep thinking about Scream in the terms of horror movies. That's not how you watch them. Like horror is there, but that's not how you watch. You got to watch them like
they're not. They're very, as far as horror movies, they're very light. They're light and fluffy horror movies.
Like the horror is there.
Which is why I'm not a big fan. They're like teeny bopper soap operas that they focus more on the drama and the.
Not even that. They're about deconstruction. That's what they're about. It's not even about
drama. They do make fun of things, and they are satire. That's what they are. They're all just satires to me.
Right, because like I said, like the third movie, people should rewatch that movie. That the whole movie was about the casting couch, and it was made by the Harvey Weinstein Company at the time. It just completely flew over his head. Nobody brought it up. I'm gonna make it a thing, but that's
Scream 3 gets shit on even by Scream fans, but I actually don't mind that one that much because it is like a parody of a parody of a parody. They're making a movie about a movie about a movie.
Right.
Like even
and it's pairing trilogies, right?
Yeah. I mean, even Jay and Silent Bob are in that movie. It's like total farce, and it's funny to me, and that's what I get out of it. I get the humor, I get the inside jokes of the movie tropes. I know for some people this is like what got them into horror, and they're into that whole, the drama of all the characters, and they know the lore, and of who was Sydney's mom and Sydney's dad, and everybody's this dad and their sister and their aunt, and who became the killer, and because they're creating these whodunit mysteries that I don't really give a shit about, but I watch them for the references, because they are just making fun of horror movies and poking fun at the way horror movies are made. And even in this movie, they were doing it. I mean, there was a scene that was hilarious to me. Where the guy was going through the whole house, and every time he'd open the door, you'd think someone is going to be there, and then he'd open the door, no one's there, and then he'd go around, he'd turn around, and it was like making fun of just how movie or horror movies are directed, how they're shot, and the music, like this, the camera would zoom in on like what's behind him, and then he'd turn around, there's nothing there, and it kept like doing these like false, like teasing false jump scares, because that's what we're used to, and it was funny to me, and yeah, it's just making, even some of the kills were referencing kills of horror movies that horror fans would know. And there were some brutal kills too in this movie. But yeah, I mean, it's just, it made meta references. It talked about, they have a conversation where they talk about fans and what fans expect from movies, what fans expect from franchises, which is what, The Matrix did, which is what what Spider-Man cleverly did as far as like the Andrew Garfield situation and how it addressed fans reaction and toxic fandom. The one guy was like, there is no such thing as toxic fandom, because fans are just love this thing so much. They love something so much, so how could it be toxic when it's just love? I mean, they make all these cool points about how people view the media and franchises. So in that sense, I enjoyed it, but it's still another teeny bopper soap opera, very fluffy, you know, and that's what I talk about as far as like Scream kind of like made horror trendy in the 90s, you know, but it was like pretty horror, pretty glossy, you know, fluffy horror.
Yeah, Jennifer
you know?
Love Hewitt.
Yeah.
Yeah, she started showing up in movies.
Yeah, like yeah, me coming from, you know, growing up on 80s horror, that though I was into the trashy, gory shit, you know, and that's just lacked all those 90s slashers, you know.
Well, it's that thing like Scream at the time was like summer blockbuster back then when summer blockbuster meant something. Like they was, you know, okay, the week after a Will Smith movie came out, okay, we got another Scream movie. Like that's how big they were, you know. So, like I said, at the time, it kind of transcended horror at the time. Not saying it was better than any horror movie at the time. It just said it transcended.
Well, it made horror huge. Yeah. Horror became trendy, and I was like, okay, cool. There's all these new horror movies come out, but they were kind of generic and lame, most of them. you know, it's funny that Scream made fun of horror, but it also inspired the very generic horror that they were making fun of, which is kind of ironic, you know. So, but
yeah, all it did is just I understand what you're saying. I understand why you made, because it made it more like, okay, we can just use horror to propel this this Hollywood star that we want. We want Jennifer Love Hewitt to be the next big thing. We can just put her in a franchise, or put, you know, some dude that's going to be Superman in another movie, make him the franchise, you know, stuff like that. So I see what you're saying.
And that's what they did in the 80s. I mean, Jamie Lee Curtis, you know, came from Halloween. Even Tom Hanks, most actors started out in shitty horror movies, you know, and they try to erase it. You know, Kevin Bacon was in the original Friday the 13th.
Johnny Depp was in Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah, you know, but yeah, so I think you know, horror's never gotten respect. Like even Silence of the Lambs, they don't consider that a horror movie.
Well, that's suspense or a thriller.
That's a thriller, but that's like, you know, that's they don't give horror its props, you know. And it's funny. Oh yeah, elevated horror. So for the past few years, I've been calling the movies like Hereditary and Midsummer and The Witch and The Lighthouse and The Rental. I've been calling them emo horror, you know, because they're marketed as horror movies, but all they are like dramas about people acting shitty to each other, you know.
I've never seen any of them, so I'm gonna just take your word for it.
Like,
so,
they're it's just really like depressing dramas, and then some horror shit happens at the end. And I've been calling them emo horror, you know, but in Scream, I guess they're called it's called elevated horror. So again, I'm learning shit from a Scream movie, you know.
I guess I've never heard that term before, but okay.
Yeah. So yeah, kind of making fun, because this girl, she's like, oh, I don't like those stab movies. Those stab movies are cheesy, you know. I'm not into that old generic, you know, slashers and shit. They're trashy. They're you know you know, kind of one note movies. Kind of repeating what Jada Pinkett said in Scream 2. And says, I like these new wave of horror movies like the Babadook and the, you know, and Hereditary and all the names, basically names all these new elevated horror movies, you know. So it's funny. And that's kind of like the theme of it, like the old school fans versus the new fans that they feel are ruining the franchise. So in that way, that's what's clever about the new Scream.
Nick Drake, what's going on?
Yeah, try watching there. Give a good comment once they get past the yada yada, respecting the genre. Couldn't get past that this time. Yeah. So I mean, it was okay. There was a for spoilers. There was a Once Upon a Time in Hollywood reference that I don't know if anybody else got but me. But there's an actress. She's in the new Scream. She was also in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood as one of the Manson family girls. She gets set on fire in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. She also gets set on fire in this movie.
Oh, damn.
So spoilers, but I thought I laughed my ass off. And it was just, like I said, there was a couple of cool gnarly kills that I like, oh shit, sweet, whet my bloodthirst appetite. So but other than that, 3 out of 5. You know, if you're into Scream, I don't know. I've heard some of the old school Scream fans have been like, think it's okay. But then I've heard other people say, "Oh, it's great." So I don't know. But to me, it's the same. It's another Scream movie, making fun of itself, So yeah.
Cool. Like I said, I had no interest in seeing it, going to the theaters and watching it. I'm not even allowed in the theaters to watch anything right now anyway. But yeah, something like that. Like we talk about the Matrix had all these memory barriers and nostalgia. Hell, I wouldn't see the Matrix either. If it wasn't for HBO Max, I would have had no interest in seeing the Matrix. Just like I didn't see Ghostbusters or whatever like that. So I'll watch this whenever it drops on whatever. So yeah. All right. Yeah, what do we got next? So you want to talk about Peacemaker?
Oh, okay. Sure. I think we got everybody here. We might as well give them what they want before they leave. You want to talk about Peacemaker right now?
We can talk about, yeah. Let's talk about Moon Knight. So everybody want to talk about Moon Knight. We'll talk about Moonlight and get into it because I put it on the thing. So yeah, so we're going to talk about briefly about Moon Knight and who is Moon Knight? Why should you care about Moon Knight? Or why should you not care about Moon Knight? We'll just talk about that also. Give you a quick rundown about Moon Knight. I know everybody that is listening to this podcast has either know way more about Moon Knight than what we do, or you've already wicked Moon Knight before you even came in here. So anyway, we just give our quick, description of him. Basically, he's a 1970s guy. He was actually a Werewolf by Night villain. And Werewolf by Night, you will know who he is by the time October comes around, because he's going to have his own Disney Plus show also. He was mercenary sent to kill him. And he for the 80s, he was Marvel's Batman, basically. This is Bill Sienkiewicz run. Basically, what he was doing, anything Neil Adams was doing, he was just ripping it off. Around the 80s, well, not around the 80s and 90s, around the 2000s, they started to do more deconstructive looking at Moon Knight. And that seems to be what the TV show is about to do also, at least from what I've seen. They started making Moon Knight more, okay, he's not. First, let me give you a rundown of who Moon Knight is. Basically, he's a mercenary.
He's Jewish.
And he's Jewish. He was a Tomb Raider. He got supposedly killed by the guy that hired him and left for dead in the tomb he got it, but he was in a tomb of an ancient moon god that resurrected him, or so he thinks. Turns out
an Egyptian moon, a pharaoh.
Right, Egyptian pharaoh, even though he's Jewish, and it's a whole thing. So the thing is, for the 80s, he was just worshiping the moon and the moon goddess and stuff like that. But then that's when the 2000s came around.
Shazam, basically.
At first in the 80s, but then they switched it around. Like I said, in 2000, people like, well, maybe he just made all that shit up. Maybe he's crazy.
Oh yeah, then they made him crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, then they're crazy. So now he's got so in the 80s, he had all these different identities like Jake Locke and Stephen Grant and all stuff like that. But then they thought maybe they're not identities. Maybe they're not Matches Malone like in Batman. Maybe he just thinks he is these guys. And that's when you start getting into dissociative personality disorders. Stephen Grant identity is supposed to be a
I remember when he was a cab driver.
Jake Lockley.
Pretending to be a cab driver.
Well, that's the thing. Was he pretending to be a cab driver? Or did he really think he was a cab driver? That's the thing. See, we don't know.
The correct answer is who gives a shit.
But that's the whole thing. Is he a superhero? Is he just a nut that thinks he's a superhero? And that's the thing. So when we start getting,
was it the Lemire run or somebody's run where he was thinking he was like Wolverine and
that was Bendis. That was Bendis.
Was that Bendis?
That was Bendis. Yes.
He was talking to all these motherfuckers
like Captain America and Wolverine,
the thing, and all they're all talking. He's having conversations with all these superheroes who weren't there,
but nobody's really around him. I'm like, okay, you're going a little bit too far.
So, did he really get to bang Echo, or did he? Was that all in his head?
Why not? Everything else in his head. Echo was there, Black Widow was there.
That's right.
She-Hulk was there. Just why not? I'm making it up. It's my imagination. Why not? I'm crazy. So that's the whole thing. So people, depending on the writer, they determine whether or not Moon Knight has superpowers and is possessed by a moon god, or he just made all the shit up and he's just making it up and it's just really just his own comic book that he's just writing in his own head. Jeff Lemire did the best balancing act, where if you read Jeff Lemire's run, you really don't know, even after you read his run, you're like, is he crazy or is he a superhero? And the answer is yes. So you don't really know what happened there. He went into space in that run. Did he go to space? I don't know. But that's the thing. So that's the thing. So these writers are kind of bouncing around between it. The TV show, like I said, when we actually start looking at what's going on with it, it feels like they're going to, oh, he's crazy. But I think he was beating up a werewolf in the thing, and then he did jump over the moon in the TV show. So I think they may be doing like a balancing act also, where he may be crazy and he may be a superhero. The British guy, 616 Man U-Lab, that is Stephen Grant. Stephen Grant is not British in the comics. He's supposed to be like I think that's the billionaire personality. I think he's a billionaire. And then somebody,
Phil is the Merc or something. I don't know.
Yeah, okay. Moon Knight, Hudson, and David Finch run. He was Watch the Vigilante with Dark Knight runs by. He's in there. His villain Bushmaker cut off his face. Right, Bushmaker cut off his face. Yeah. So
that's what I'm saying. He's always been just lame Batman to me. I've never.
And that's but the thing. If anytime you make him Batman, he sucks. You know, because there's no reason to make him Batman. And I get it. Marvel wants Batman's popular. We need a Batman. That's not why. If you Batman, why are you wearing all white at nighttime? That should tell you right there you're crazy. You know? So
it's like they said, hey, do you like Batman? Do you like Shazam? Do you like the Mummy? Well, here's all that. Only it sucks. It's called Moon Knight.
It's just a big gumbo thing. And people always try to make Moon Knight a thing. Moon Knight is not a thing. He's never been a thing. This is a D-list hero at best. They're just scraping the bottom of the barrel when they go on.
Then they try to make him a Punisher, like he's all psychotic, like the Punisher, and I'm
And even when Moon Knight is hanging around Punisher, like, okay, Punisher, where we're gonna go next? And you can tell Punisher's look like, why are you here? You know,
like,
go away.
What? Come on, Frank, shoot this fucking guy, will you?
Like, am I that lame? I'm hanging around Moon Knight now. Where's Daredevil? Where's Spider-Man? Where's cool Ghost Rider? Come on, give me somebody. We'll change that stuff up real quick for general audiences.
Oh yeah, I know this wasn't this supposed to be the hard where Marvel, Disney goes ham. With
Right,
Moon
this
Knight?
Supposed to be street level and all like this isn't that. This I don't. Yeah,
I saw the trailer.
People want this to be Daredevil. This is not Daredevil. And honestly, Eli, I think if you turn Moon Knight into Daredevil, you will fail. That's not how you write them. Like,
whatever they're doing.
Well, no, but I'm interested in what they're doing because they're going with the psychological, in your head type thing, and I'm fine with that. If you do that with Moon Knight, he can kind of work. But if you just turn him into street level,
he's just acting with the British accent.
Yes.
He's not really British.
He's not really British.
Yeah. He's like, pip, pip, cheerio, jolly good.
Right. He stayed up late watching Doctor Who and just,
Sweep the chimney, I will.
Right. And then he'll turn into Mark Spector and he'll have a New York accent like in episode 2 or something like that. So I'm thinking that's
where they're just start singing songs from Oliver, consider yourself at home.
But the thing is, I'm cool with it because they got the right guy to play him. Like I said, they got Oscar Isaac. Oscar Isaac can do it because I always in my head imagine that if you're gonna do a guy that's gonna be Moon Knight, it's got to be like James McAvoy in Split. They got to have a guy like that, just nutso 64 personalities run around, a guy that can pull it off convincingly. Now you can't get James McAvoy, of course, because he might come back and do something else. But Oscar Isaac, he can do it. He can pull it off. I know people don't.
The chick who's playing She-Hulk.
She did that too, like played a whole bunch of personalities and stuff like that. Yeah, you needed somebody that can do all that convincingly, and Oscar Isaac can do it. He can pull off a British accent. He can pull off New York accent and whatever the hell else that they decide to do with Moon Knight.
What's his name? Dan Stevens. You didn't watch Legion. Legion kind of did that too. He played like different versions of himself.
Yeah, all these personalities like that. So you gotta have. That's the thing. So whoever you get, you gotta have a guy. He can't be Batman. If you just turn him into Batman, you turn him into Daredevil, you have already failed Moon Knight. So my personal opinion, if you come here looking for Daredevil or Punisher or something like that, you're gonna be disappointed because if Marvel goes that route, they already failed. I think.
Well, that's the thing. That's the problem with the character. He was already a ripoff. He doesn't have an identity. So they just doing.
He has
everybody's identity.
Everybody's identity.
You want Superman? There he is, Moon Knight. You know,
You want to go to Moon? Okay, yeah, he's there.
yeah, he's flying to the moon. He's Superman. See,
Moon Knight. What are you?
yeah, just fill in the blank. Moon Knight is, and whatever you want. He's a Mad Lib.
Right.
You
So
know,
they do it
animal,
all.
vegetable, mineral.
Doom Patrol. Yeah, it needs to be like Doom Patrol. That's exactly what it needs to be. That needs to be Marvel, not Daredevil. It needs to be Doom Patrol. That's what it is. So did we get you excited for Moon Knight? Probably not. But that's
I
the thing. But it's gonna be the thing.
Leroy said we're gonna do a whole show on Moon Knight. I'm like, oh shit.
Oh no. I didn't say we were gonna do a whole
thought you were sick. Ain't you still sick?
for Moon Knight. I'm like,
I think I'm sick this week, Leroy.
did somebody say Moon Knight?
Yeah, you can talk about Moon Knight. I'm sick. I'm a call in sick.
Moon Knight gave you COVID. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't. I've been shitting. Got the
All
Moon
right.
Knight shits.
Okay. Let's talk. Now we gave everybody what they wanted. Let's go to let's talk about Peacemaker now. So let's, like I said, this was episode 4. Eli knows some things you want to talk about on it, so I'll let you get a chance to talk about Peacemaker.
Oh, I just thought it was funny. I was laughing my ass off. I'm digging the show. I'm just saying. Vigilante had me laughing my ass off. When he goes to
Yeah,
jail.
I wasn't expecting to like him as much as he did. I thought it was gonna be kind of crazy,
He
but
pretty much stole this episode. I thought
he stole episode. It was like a vigilante episode. I was like, gang, give me more vigilante, even just him being passive aggressive, in the car the whole time. Thank you. I've never had a friend quite like you. I was like, oh, okay, I see what you're doing.
You don't give a shit about my toe? But that shit he was saying when he goes to jail and to get his dad, he basically said all the shit that I say that gets me put into Facebook jail. So,
but at the same time, Eli, he was doing on purpose to antagonize people.
yeah.
And so what do you expect was going to happen?
Well, yeah. I mean, that's the only reason why I go to the Fox News page.
James Gunn commenting king. Yeah, like I said, James Gunn just keep it going with the comedy. Some of them just like, oh, I can't believe he's getting away with this stuff. This is stuff, especially with stuff the Vigilante was saying at the end. I'm like, this is gonna piss off somebody. And not, of course, I guess the people he's gonna piss off are the people that don't watch this stuff anyway,
Yeah.
But I kind of get what he's doing just with the Peacemaker concept, like why he's even doing a Peacemaker show. Because Peacemaker is that guy that you think, like what we always talk about superheroes, how they're just, the male white power fantasy. And that's kind of what Peacemaker is. He's a frat boy. And he has to learn how not to live like a frat boy.
Well, just that conversation with the neighbor, that old man, he's like, you ain't no superhero. Superheroes have villains. And shit.
Right.
Like Batman, he's got the Riddler, the Joker, and blah. And he says what we all say, why doesn't Batman kill him? He would, all all the murders he's responsible for because he doesn't kill these criminals,
Right.
And everybody's like, oh, but Batman doesn't kill,
Right. And everybody's going, and as soon as I saw that on HBO, I knew that was going to go viral. And lo and behold, it went viral immediately. I almost posted it that night, but I was like, I'm going to wait. I don't want to spoil it for people. And as soon as I even thought about it, I saw like about 3-4 of those videos online. Just like
I
that.
told you that's why Batman sucks.
But we do have to understand that Peacemaker is a supervillain. So you can't take anything he says for heart, just like, oh, this is what he means, or hashtag Peacemaker was right. Don't do that.
That's the thing. All the best villains don't think they're villains. They think they're heroes. That's what makes them great villains.
Right. But the thing is that when Peacemaker starts saying stuff that people are already saying, they're gonna think, oh, Peacemaker is a hero. Like, no, Peacemaker is not a hero. Remember, he was the villain of Suicide Squad. People seem to forget that.
I think that's the purpose of the show. We're seeing, I don't know if it's going to be total redemption, but you see he's conflicted, that he wants to be the hero. He wants to do good, but can he? And I think that's what made the show interesting, especially because, this episode was directed by Jody Hill, and he did like Eastbound and Down, all those Kenny Powers or Danny McBride shows. Where he basically takes despicable characters, like douchebag asshole characters, and sort of injects depth and heart, gives them like like emotional depth where you kind of
Yeah, this was an emotional episode.
Yeah, you kind of
Yeah.
feel bad for them, even though they're still assholes. You kind of care about them, though, you know. And I love that. I love where you take because that just makes them an interesting character, you know. So yeah, I like that. So when I saw directed by Jody Hill, no shit, you know. So yeah, that's what I liked about it. They're taking this. He's the total dick, but they're peeling the layers back. You're finding out about him, and at the heart, he wants to do good. It's just the question is, can he? Is it too late for him? You know. So that's what
or even just learning social skills.
But
because that's part of it also.
Yeah, and also Vigilante is a fucking site. He's basically a Punisher knockoff, but he still has a code. Like he was ready to kill. He's like, the older me, I would have killed you just for smoking weed. He was saying in the last episode,
right? Or like do it for graffiti or something like that.
Yeah, he like you know, because I remember reading like the thing about the Punisher is no matter who, it depends who's writing them. If it was a Spider-Man comic, Punisher was a total asshole. He's like shooting at jaywalkers. That's against the law, jaywalking. Right. But he was that extreme. Like if you break the law, you deserve to die, no matter what the law is, you know. And I think that's what Vigilante was. Like he's a total murdering psychopath, but he still has a code. Like, oh, you know, your dad's racist, you know.
I mean, but that's the thing. Like I said, if he was a racist supervillain, so why wouldn't you kill him if you're a vigilante, you know, or a murdering superhero? Like that's the type of guy you would go after, you know.
Yeah. So that's interesting. Yeah, that he is friends with Peacemaker. You know?
But I mean, it makes sense because they're two peas in a pod. Really, they're both two psychopaths. So yeah, of course they would be. But another thing that's catching my attention also is out of bio. I'm seeing Vigilante used to be a district attorney in comics, and now he's a Punisher parody. Yeah, but the thing is, back in the 80s, he wasn't a parody. He was just basically DC's Punisher. Just like Moon Knight was Marvel's Batman, he was DC's Punisher. He just went around shooting people and shit. But now, I guess they realize how stupid that would be, like in 2000. And plus, people are going after superheroes like that anyway, because that 80s and 90s, you know, macho shit. So yeah, of course, you would turn him into a parody. I was going somewhere with this. Out of bio. Okay, the reason I'm going with that because you can see that she and Peacemaker two sides of the same coin. Because Peacemaker is trying not to become his father, just like Adebayo is trying not to become her mother. But she did some Amanda Waller shit in this episode, when she was basically like manipulating Vigilante into doing that. That's the shit Amanda Waller did. Yeah, you know. So
and
it's just
conflicted. Yeah, there's all these internal conflicts. Yeah, I'm gonna watch this episode again.
That's what I'm saying. Like we just thought it was gonna be just jokes and stuff and stuff like that, but no, it's actually like internal conflict, and these characters have like pathos and motivation behind the stuff they do. They're becoming characters, becoming real people.
Yeah, which is something James Gunn has always been good at, like taking these band of misfits and making them a family, and where you end up caring about them. You know.
Yeah. And the Apple Dumpling Gang, that was I don't know where he pulled that joke out of.
Some of those lines, some of the lines, like why does
I had to just stop it.
Why does everybody keep fucking you to me?
Oh, like man, something loud, like I haven't heard that shit in like 30 years, man. I had to just, where did you pull that from? You know,
but the Apple Dumpling Gang were successful.
They were successful, but I was just like, where did you pull that reference from? That just oh man, but yeah, like I said, honestly, Peacemaker is not over with yet, but I think other than Watchmen, this is the best DC TV show they've ever made. Better than Smallville. Better than anything on the CW. You know, this is the best TV show.
It's right up my alley. It's violent, it's bloody, it's gory, it's crude, it's vulgar. So I'm loving it.
And I'd even go as far as say this is the best thing the DCEU has ever produced. I mean, you can't really argue with it, even though the show isn't done yet. If the show keeps up the pace it's going, I will solidify it and definitely put my stamp on it. But even if the pace is going right now, from what I've seen, yeah, this is the best thing the DCEU has produced. Out of any of their movies, this is the first show they've made. So yeah, so that's my opinion of it. So if you haven't seen it, highly recommended from us from what we've seen so far. Definitely check it out. and they made so many reference. It expands the DCEU more than any other movies have. They've mentioned Batmite. They've mentioned Matter Eater Lad. Like, whoa, really? That's a deep cut there, you know. So yeah, so okay, we're done with that. Let's move on past that. We talked about Moon Knight. Okay, let's talk about the Vidja Game section. Eli, this is huge news. Normally when we talk about the Vidja Game section, there's nothing to talk about. Most of them just bored with shit, not just like make up shit. This is huge news. What happened right here? Hold on, let's see what we got here.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, technically,
kinda.
Harley was in James Gunn's Suicide Squad. So
And Kathy Boomerang and Rick Flag
yeah,
and Amanda Waller. Yeah.
and Amanda Waller. So that is from the DCEU. So
Kind of, but at the same time, James Gunn just might be doing his own thing and not really care what they do because they keep going on this thing about how Batman doesn't kill and Ben Affleck like murdered everybody.
fuck the Snyder verse. Let's have the James Gunn verse.
Just give me the James Gunn verse if this is what we're gonna get, you know.
Yeah.
Because I love for Matter Eater Lad or Arm Fall Off Boy to, you know, show up in one of these shows, you know, some shit. You know? Or even Snowflame. Snowflame would definitely show up in. For those who don't know who Snowflame is, it's a deep cut reference.
Yeah,
They haven't mentioned him. I reviewed him one time, but anyway, Snowflame is a DC villain that gets super strength from cocaine. That's his power.
Oh, I think you fucking I remember you telling me about that.
Yeah, so if anybody can bring Snowflame to the DCEU, it's James Gunn.
Oh, that would be great. That would be great.
Yeah,
who would play that motherfucker though?
Who would play Snowflame?
He already got Pete Davidson in the fight. We needed somebody.
Nobody would care. Nobody would care. He'd just bring Pete Davidson
Jim
back.
Carrey.
Jim Carrey. Oh man. Oh yeah. Anyway, back to the Vidja Game section. Okay, Eli, this is huge news right here because Xbox just bought Activision for $68.7 billion. This is bigger than the Disney Fox deal. This is huge. And for everything that Activision has, that means that Xbox now owns Call of Duty. Well, I got a list. They own Call of Duty.
As of now, Star Wars too. Because Star Wars, or is that EA?
Well, no, that's EA. That's EA.
Yeah, okay.
But even then, that license is you know, they can take that license away anytime they want to. So they own Overwatch, Diablo, Call of Duty. They own Call of Duty. This is huge. World of Warcraft. They own Candy Crush. This is insane. This is the biggest like entertainment purchase, like I think ever. I mean, like as far as like absorbing another company, because it's huge. Like I said, now why would you spend that much just on that much? Because the video game industry is insane. They make all kind of moves. Like they're the biggest industry out right now. They're bigger than everything. Like I said, you may not play Call of Duty, but you may play Candy Crush or some shit, you know. What the fuck is going to happen to Sony now? What is going to happen to Sony? Here's the thing what's going to happen to Sony. So the CEO of Xbox actually said he tweeted, he got off the phone with Sony. He said that all standing agreements that are owned right now on all platforms are going to stay there. And Call of Duty is going to stay on PlayStation. So as far as what's going to happen to Sony, probably nothing. Probably Sony's going to stay the same thing. But here is the kicker. Xbox isn't going after all these companies for the console war. They don't care about a console war. The console war, that shit died with Sega Nintendo back in the 90s. They're on to other stuff. This is Game Pass. That's what this is. All this stuff, they want you to sign up for Game Pass. They don't care if you buy Xbox. As long as you get the Game Pass, you have all these games. So every Call of Duty game is coming to Game Pass. Candy Crush coming to Game Pass. They just bought Bethesda like last year sometime for almost the same amount of money. And it's like Fallout and Skyrim and all those games. Doom. They own Doom. You know. So Xbox owns everything. So, but if you get Game Pass, you get all of that stuff. You can play it. That's scary stuff. So they're not even going after them. They're going after like
So you're gonna need like a big ass hard drive.
No, you won't, because everything's going to be streaming.
All online streaming?
It's all going to be streaming. So you could get a hard drive, but you could do the streaming stuff also. They're already starting to pull that stuff out. Big extra content. So yeah, damn near every game that's out, you can just get on Xbox and be done with it. Because I mean, hell, how many people play Call of Duty? I know people that only play Call of Duty. They don't own any other game. Maybe Madden, maybe 2K, maybe FIFA. That's it. And they'll just play that all year around, 4 hours a day, playing it, smoking weed. That's all they do. Weed and Call of Duty. That's it. So
Yeah,
crazy times. Can you move on to the next part of the podcast?
sure.
Okay. Like I said, it's Comic Book Bullies, where we talk about the comic books. So we're going to talk about it was actually like a ton of books that came out this week.
Yeah, man. What the hell?
Yeah,
they couldn't spread it out over the month. They dropped everything.
That was like, because nothing dropped last week. I had to like find stuff last week, and this time it was just too much stuff to just get my hands on. So yeah. But Eli, you want to go first, or
I don't care. Sure, I guess.
Because I think you got more than me. But yeah.
Sure. Let me. Fuck it. Let's get the one no one cares about out the way. No one gives a shit, right?
Well, what do we got?
Star Wars High Republic number 13.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm into this shit. Basically, Avar Chris, the main Jedi, she's like the Xavier of the Jedi Order during this era. This is 200 years before Phantom Menace. And she's basically the Marshal of Starlight Beacon. They're basically colonizing the outer rim of the galaxy. And they're at war with the Nile, these space pirates. Anyways, Avar Chris, she's like the leader Jedi, the head Jedi. She's like Xavier. She can like read everybody's minds, kind of like Cerebro. Anyways, in this book, she's kind of going dark, which would be very bad. So they're at war with the Nile. They're after Lorna Doone. Not Lorna Doone. Aren't those cookies? Lorna D.
I know supermodel, I guess, but yeah.
I mean, Lorna D. Anyway, she's one of the Nile henchmen or henchwoman. She's female. And she's been fucking up the Jedi. She like turned the two twins into like husks, like skinless husks and shit. She's been fucking up the Jedi anyways. So Avar Chris shows up with the crew of Jedi here, and they're fucking them up. And she's about to kill one of the fucking Nile guys. And the Padawan, Chris, is like, yo, that's not the Jedi way. My master Skier, the Trandoshan, who went dark a few issues ago, you expelled them from the Jedi Order for doing the same shit you're doing. And Avar Chris is like, no, get out of my way. And then the last panel is them clashing lightsabers. So they're going to duel. So this Padawan, well, she's just been knighted. She's about to fight the like most powerful Jedi who's starting to go dark. So that's pretty cool, I think. So this might be no, this ain't my book of the week, but I'll give it a 4 out of 5. This was cool. So on to the next. Got to keep it going.
Okay, but you got a book of the week. Okay, I'm curious about that.
I do.
Okay, I read that Kang origin story. Many cool art and great storytelling aspect was convoluted as fuck. Yes, any Kang story is convoluted as fuck. That's just Kang. That's why I really don't even like him as a character, because all those Avengers stories were just weird. They would kill him, and then he would show up 2 seconds later, be like, "I'll get revenge on you." So like, wait, what? And then yeah, so stupid shit. Anyway. Let's talk about this. We're going to talk about the X Lives of Wolverine or 10 Lives of Wolverine.
Or the 10 Lives of Wolverine.
Yeah, I don't know what you call it. But we're just going to go with that. The 10 Lives of Wolverine, the X Lives of Wolverine, whatever like that. Anyway, what is this book? I didn't do any kind of research or, look at any kind of advertisement, because Marvel actually advertised for this stuff nowadays. But after reading it, it's basically Quantum Leap. Wolverine just hops into like different time periods, I guess. So it's like Days of Future Past, like the movie.
Wolverine and Omega Red.
Oh yeah, Wolverine and Omega Red, like time hopping around and stuff like that. So I guess that's cool. What's going on? But yeah, basically it's Quantum Leap. That's what it is. So that's what I'm gonna call it. Now Eli, the thing is, this book, I read this book for free. Technically not free, but it was part of the Marvel Unlimited subscription, like day one. So because I was about to buy it. I was about to, spend, I guess, $6, whatever it is, like that. And I just looked up on Marvel Unlimited, and it was just there. I'm just like, whoa, I can save that money. Go get some Arby's. So yeah, so I hopefully they'll keep this thing going. But hold on, let me see what we got here. Wolverine.
You kind of get me hungry for Arby's. I kind of want jalapeno.
You don't want Arby's. I'm sorry. This podcast is not sponsored by Arby's.
Come on, man. Jalapeno poppers with the Bronco berry sauce.
Next bet you lose, you eating Arby's. Okay. All right. Let's talk about the Lives of Wolverine. Okay. So based on how the book starts off, it's some bullshit about a time watch, because they try to make it seem like it's a real book, but it's not. Don't care.
Deep.
It's deep. About time is linear and circular, and who gives a fuck? Anyway, the point is, Professor X shows up, tells Wolverine it's time. So what are we talking about? We'll find out. We go to the next page, and yeah, so a bunch of Hickman leftover stuff. Who cares? We go to the Xavier mansion back in, I didn't really give a time, but yeah, it was back then. And Xavier's mom is about to give birth. Downstairs, his dad is talking to his butler. He's just like, yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to raise the kids to do this. And then I guess the groundskeeper or the gardener, comes out, and then it throws the shear at him, and then Wolverine jumps out of nowhere and saves him before he gets his head taken off. He's like, you got a gun? He's like, yeah, a gun. You go get it. And then the groundskeeper, does he have a thing on? Doesn't have a thing on him yet. But yeah, and then he just, oh yeah. So now you see the Omega Red symbol, and he's got the Omega Red thing coming out of him. So he's Omega Red, because Omega Red in this book can possess people, And so he's, yeah. So I'm just gonna go past that. Wolverine.
So is he possessing, or is he time body hopping?
Well, he's hopping people in this time period. Like he's the gardener first, and then once you get in the house, he jumps into somebody else's body.
So, is that? Or wait, are those bones?
Yeah,
those are bones.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. So before he got him titanium or whatever, got the metal on him.
Or they might be carbonadium or whatever, But like I said, it's in the past. So whatever's going on, I guess, yeah. But that being said, we cut to present time, and we go to, I guess, Go Balls, I guess what his name is. Anyway, Omega Red knocks his ass out, takes him to the portal because he needs his face to go through the portal, which that's not how the portals work, but who cares? Anyway, so he goes in there and he looks up his own file, sees that's what he's doing, and he finds the Omega Red resurrection protocols. He finds what they're doing to him, or what they plan to do to him. And then it's when you got this whole diatribe thing like that. Basically, what's going on is that when Omega Red gets, when they need to resurrect him again, what they're going to do is that they're going to alter his DNA where he's no longer poisonous. But that's against the rule. That's against the Krakoan law. Once you bring somebody back, you can't alter them. You can't tweak them. They have to be the exact same way they were before they went in. And Beast, in the bottom of it, he's just like, look, when I tell you to cook something, you cook something, down at the bottom. You order what we cook. That's what Beast says. So basically, they're altering the rules of Krakoan law. And Omega Red finds that out. He goes over. So anyway, Xavier's mom giving birth. They're trying to make sure that Omega Red doesn't come in there. They give birth to the baby. Wolverine's fighting, and he's got claws also. And he chops up Omega Red, or tries to, Oh, and then Omega Red leaves his body. He was like, "What are you doing? I don't know where I am." And he realized, he body hopped. He's in the room with the baby.
He's fallen. Or was that movie with Denzel?
Was it?
Yeah, where they're possessing the different bodies and shit.
But didn't you have to like touch the other person or something?
Yeah, touch them and shit.
He didn't touch it. He just
First Power did that shit too. Or Shocker. Shocker was another.
But Shocker went through the TV, right?
He went through the TV. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway,
I'm surprised you seen Shocker. You actually saw Shocker.
No, I didn't see Shocker. It was a Master P album, like back in the 90s. So that's the only reason. Yeah. So he shoots the butler because the butler turned into Omega Red. So he's just like, I'm not putting up with you. I'm gonna just shoot you. So he's dead. But then she's having another baby. She have another baby because anybody whoever read the Josh Whedon run of X-Men. Or was the Grant Morrison run? I can't remember what it was. But anyway, Professor X had a twin sister. They fought over who was going to come out the womb. He choked his sister in his mom's womb and killed her when she came out.
I did not know that.
That is a thing. So that's why when the other baby came out and the other baby died, that's because Professor X killed that baby. That's Cassandra, or he thought he killed the baby because the baby came back, became a supervillain, blew up Genosha with a whole bunch of Sentinels. Go read Grant Morrison run. I'm not going to talk about that shit. Anyway, Xavier's daddy looked familiar. Looked like somebody else. Who's he look like? Like an old Archie character. I don't know. Anyway, he sees Omega Red choking the shit out of his wife as he's about to shoot the midwife, you know. And
James Cagney, top of the world, Mom.
I kind of see it. But he got me. Oh, maybe like a Dick Tracy character, something like that. Anyway, Omega Red uses the bones, take the shotgun away from her, smacks in the head, and that's when Wolverine breaks through the door. He's there because he was downstairs. I don't care about that shit. We'll move past that. It was a cool panel though, right here. It was a cool panel about all the live because that's what they're doing. But yeah, basically what's going, and it kind of sums up what's going on right now is that Wolverine has to go through all his past whatevers and stuff like that. So that's what they're doing right now. But anyway, Wolverine, Omega Red fights some more. Omega Red is just like, yeah, if you leave out, oh yeah, and the wife don't know who's who, so she's like, I'm gonna just shoot both of you. Get the hell out of my house. She still got Xavier, umbilical cord tied to her. Oh yeah, and Omega Red's in present day, and I think that's Colossus' brother is now the president of Russia or something. I don't know. I get some shit. Yeah, and then Wolverine's like, don't shoot. She shoots. Omega Red takes her, and then she's about to kill her, and then Dad pokes her eye out, and then Xavier's crying, and then Wolverine picks up the Xavier, takes the cuts the umbilical cord. So basically, I'm protecting this baby. And then Omega Red comes at him. Wolverine just sidesteps, and then it just falls out the window. Dead. Okay, so yeah, so he quantum leaped, he saved Xavier, and he body hops into another time period, and now he's with Team 7, I guess in Vietnam or Korea. I can't remember when Team 7 was doing whatever they were doing, but I guess it don't matter. But anyway, Professor X is here also somewhere. Jean Grey tells him that you got to go save him. The end. So I kind of know what's going on in this book, but kind of don't know what's going on in this book. But I'm just here. It was free, so like whatever.
Is for action, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, the art was awesome. Yeah,
and the fight scenes and pretty cool fucking fights and action and shit. Yeah, I mean, I for the most part I enjoyed it, but yeah, it is. Yeah, he's just gonna go chase Omega Red through time as Omega. It's the Terminator.
Yeah, every time hopping travel book. Like does this book need to exist? It does not need to exist. But if you want to give me a book where it's basically like a greatest hits of Wolverine's past, whatever, okay, whatever. I haven't read a Wolverine book in a while, so
that's the only reason why I picked it up. I mean, but it's going to be like for the next 10 weeks. It's another weekly book. But
it's like free, weekly, it's like the X of Wolverine and then the Deaths of Wolverine, Lives of Wolverine, blah, 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 yeah. So,
but if it's going to be free on Marvel, because I do have Marvel, Marvel Unlimited.
Now I don't know if it was a glitch or something. They were just like, "Oh shit, we didn't mean to drop that." I don't know if that's the deal. So but I guess we'll find out Tuesday or Wednesday whenever these books drop whether or not the Death of Wolverine will be on there also. Great action, but yeah, the action was awesome. It was clear. It was concise. Like I said, they didn't explain everything, but of course they weren't going to explain everything. It's a 10-issue story, so they're not going to give you everything up front. But you kind of, you got an idea of what's going on. So, what if you
Omega Red's the Terminator out to kill John Connor.
Yeah,
and Wolverine's Kyle Reese.
Right, he's Kyle Reese. John Connor is Professor X, so he's just going through time trying to kill Professor X.
Yeah,
because Colossus' brother is the president of Russia for some reason. And yeah, okay, whatever. I'm here. I'm on the ride. It was an entertaining book. So
yeah.
Even though I kind of halfway knew what was going on, but yeah.
Even though I'm like, how come everybody that Omega Red possesses has the tentacles?
Right, but they get them automatically, I guess.
Yeah, like whatever.
And
sure,
I'm
cool,
gonna tell you, and Eli,
cool.
they
some
are
blood,
not. I
cool.
guarantee you, they are not gonna explain it. Even when we get to the very end of this book, they're not gonna explain it. It's just gonna be like,
Yeah.
fuck it, don't worry about it. Just
I don't
go
give a
with it.
shit. Whatever. The
Like I
correct
said,
answer is who gives a shit.
the correct answer, Hickman's gone, so nobody cares anymore. Oh man. All right, so what you got now?
What do I? We still on Marvel? Did I read? What other Marvel book did I read? Oh, the Hulk. Okay, the Hulk.
Yeah.
The Hulk.
I read that also.
Did you?
But I'm gonna let you talk about it.
Okay. Yeah. So Donny Cates is this number 3?
Yeah. It
Yeah.
feels like it's longer, but yeah, it's just number 3.
It's only number 3. So as you well know, Donny Cates turned the Hulk into a spaceship or a kaiju or a Voltron robot, basically, and all the personalities are inside. Bruce Banner, the Bruce Banner personality is inside the Hulk, piloting him, and he can keep the Hulk really powerful by sending wave after wave of enemies for the Hulk to fight in his consciousness, in his mind. That's what keeps him.
And the stronger the enemy, the more power he gets for his engine.
Yeah.
Of his Hulk spaceship.
Yeah. So
yeah.
he went through some portal, and now he's in some other dimension where he met another Bruce Banner from some other, Earth or whatever. And basically said that what the fuck happened? I don't remember.
Basically the gamma bomb was a success.
Oh, that's right. So he was from an Earth where the gamma bomb was a success and it powered everything, but then he started turning the whole world into a planet of Hulks.
Right.
And
or he called them abominations.
Yeah, whatever. And then Dark Hulk shows up, right? Somewhere. What happens? Something like that happen? Doesn't he show up?
He thinks Dark Hulk shows up.
Okay. Oh, he's having a nightmare. That's right. That was the nightmare. And then Thunderbolt Ross is at the end. I don't remember.
And who's the president of the United States now?
It's President Ross. Yeah. President Thunderbolt Ross sent somebody. No, it sent I don't remember. I don't know. it's like all of a sudden we're gonna go cerebral and all this shit, this wham bam explosion, blockbuster shit. All of a sudden it went like heady, and I'm like, okay, so
Eli, I promise, just me. I'm done. I'm off this Hulk train, man. I'm done, man. You can't give me, that great run that Al Ewing did where he's talking to God and the devil and talking about existentialism. And now we're like in a Hulk spaceship where he's beating Wolverine with a giant Wolverine kaiju monster with his own claw.
Yeah.
And Spider Hulk and what?
That's
or
the
Hulk
thing.
Spider, whatever.
It's like trying to be like this big, dumb action, campy monster movie. And then this issue, it goes all, we're going to be smart now. And I'm like, no.
Like, no, you can't do that. You can't do that. If you're going to be dumb, stay dumb.
Yeah,
don't switch it.
Give me more smashy smash shit.
Right.
I don't care about...
Hulk don't want to think.
Yeah.
Hulk want to smash.
Puny Banner. I don't give a shit, like the Nightmare and all that shit. And then, okay, if he goes up against a planet of Hulks, that would be cool.
Right.
But then he doesn't. And and then Thunderbolt Ross is president. And I'm like, okay. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
I'm done. I can't with this book anymore. Just let me know when Thor shows up and they start fighting again. Then I'll halfway pay attention then. But
that's coming up soon. Yeah. That's coming up,
but
that event.
Yeah, but this soon. Hulk spaceship shit, he's in another dimension, and President Ross, the Hulk book sounds like conflict. Yeah, well, that's the thing. It wasn't a conflicting tone at first. It was just a dumb book. It was just dumb with him just beating up shit and stuff like that. Yeah, then it switched up all of a sudden. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Robot Hulk, and they're just piloting him, and yeah, that sounds okay, sure. take them to space, let them fight Thor. And
Can't you-
yeah, that's basically what I'm waiting for. Let's just get to that. This one they tried to get all sci-fi and heady, and don't.
Like you're losing me. You're losing me, Case. And that's the thing. And I like Kate, but this book is too weird. I hate to just drop a Kate's book, but it's so weird, and it's just tone is so all over the place. I gotta drop it. I mean, it's too much other stuff to come out for me to just stick with this weird robot Hulk shit. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, since we're on Marvel and since we're on Hulk, let's stick with his
There's
cousin.
a theme.
There's a theme. Let's stick with his cousin. So there is a limited series out right now with his cousin, which is She-Hulk #1. Yeah. So let's see up how She-Hulk fares compares to the Hulk. And this is classic She-Hulk. This is Shoki, not that weird shit that Jason Aaron was doing. World War She-Hulk and all this shit like that. No, this is classic Shoki that we all know, and she's back. So let's just get to it, see what we have. Like I said, it's Jennifer Walters. She's headed to work, but she gets stopped by her arch enemy Titania. Titania's like, "Where you going, shrimp? You know what time it is. We supposed to fight every time we see each other." She was like, "Look, I don't have time for this shit. No, we're gonna go." And she's ready to smack her. And anyway, yeah. But before she gets ready to smack her, Jennifer like, "Stop! Don't hit me." She's like, "Why not?" Like, before we do this is my only skirt. I don't have another skirt right now, so I gotta take this skirt off.
Take it off. All right.
Yeah, she's like,
I'm digging it already.
She's like, "Wait, what are you doing?" She's like, yeah, but I'm not gonna mess my skirt up. We're gonna get this right. So, what she said about underwear? Oh yeah, like, "You're not gonna fight me in your underwear, are you?" You're like, "Nah, I'm not gonna do that." No, she actually says, "I fought you in less." So that's when she hulks out like that. She's like, "Okay, now I'm ready to fight. I just didn't want to mess my skirt up because I'm headed to work." She's like, "Yeah, now let's go." Yeah. So then they fight, and they keep fighting each other like that. But the whole time when they're fighting, She-Hulk's just like, Titania, didn't you get married a while ago?" She's like, "Yeah, and and y'all in the apartment, stuff like that." She was like, "Yeah, we just got a house. We're gonna rent our own house." She was like, "Okay, cool. I'm just saying it not because I'm jealous or anything like that. I'm just curious as how you doing. But while you fighting me and all the stuff like that, aren't you worried about that you could get, fighting in the street, you might get arrested because people think you're a bad guy or stuff like that? Like, why are you doing this?" And she was just like, "Well, what's your point?" She was like, "Well, instead of us just fighting," she like, "The thing is, I get it. You like fighting me because, you got a lot of built up aggression. You just want to just, let off some steam. But here's the thing. So do I. I like to get off some steam also. And I know you're the only person that I can like fight all the time and not worry about, breaking them or killing them, anything like that. We just fight each other." So they got this weird relationship where they're not only worse enemies, they're best friends.
So it's like Kato and Inspector Clouseau and Pink Panther.
Yeah, like it's part of the game. Like, they'll team up, they fight each other, and they beat the shit out of each other, but they need to do it, So then that's when She-Hulk makes an offer for it. She's like, "Look, I tell you what, instead of you just fighting me in the middle of the street where people can get hurt, find me at an empty parking lot next time. I'll meet you somewhere, and we'll just beat the shit out of each other, and we won't tell anybody about it." You mean like that's exactly what I mean. A fight club. So we don't talk about Fight Club. We meet up next time, and it's good. It's like, "Can I get your number?" Don't worry about it. I got your number. So they leave, and that's it. So, and she even offers up money. She was like, "Well, since that was your only skirt, normally you got money on your pocket. You need a loan or something like that." And She-Hulk like, "No, I'm good." So yeah, and she gets her skirt and leaves, and that's it. So,
Well,
yeah.
that totally reminds me of Jennifer's body.
Oh yeah, and then She-Hulk has a new job where she's like a paralegal or a teacher assistant. Basically, she didn't have her old job like she did before, and she meets up with Wasp. Wasp gives her her old apartment, and she lives there. And when everybody leaves, she like hulks out and stuff like that. She turns, in the Shoki when nobody's paying attention to it. Anyway, it's doing it again. Anyway, I just cut to the end of it. I don't know why it's doing that. Anyway, the stinger of the book is that Jack of Hearts shows up. Okay. Jack of Hearts actually has nothing to do with She-Hulk. He's a old Avenger. Yeah. Okay. I'm back now. He's an old Avenger that was killed off by Scarlet Witch, by Wanda. You know, when she went like nutso and House of M and all this shit like that, she killed him by accident. She didn't mean to. She just like, you just got in my way. But anyway, she's taking a bubble bath because, like I said, it's a She-Hulk book. She-Hulk loves to shower in her own books. It's a thing. We're not gonna get into it. But anyway, she hears some crashing, and that's when Jack of Hearts shows up. So that's Jack of Hearts. He's back. Why? Cause. So yeah. It was cool, but I was just like, where Jack of Hearts come from? Like, why is he back? Why is he a thing? But up until then, I was enjoying it. But the thing is, it didn't get wacky. It didn't get wacky because She-Hulk books get wacky. They get insane. Like, the thing is, she's Deadpool before Deadpool.
Mhm.
She went to Alien, space like that, the TVA, all this shit like that, like in Loki. She fought him first. You know, so that's the thing. That's a cool book. I don't know if I keep up with it. I was into it until Jack of Hearts. I don't want to read about Jack of Hearts. I don't care. So I probably dropped the book after that. But but the first half of this book, I was into it. When she was fighting Titania and they became fight clubs like that, I was into it. But until after that, it fell off on me. But yeah. Okay. So what you got next?
I guess we'll do the Phoenix song, Echo number 3, is it? Or is it 4? Where are we at?
What did I put down? 4. This is 4 or 5.
Yeah. Too bad. Because there's probably not that many books left, and yeah. So last issue, she was right about the face off with the adversary. This issue, she picks up and she's in some other world where she's married to that River dude. River is that dude she met who can he's a mutant who can take you back in time to your family lineage. He can go back to your family lineage. So he's been taking her back in time because the adversary has been going back and killing all her relatives, basically. So they ended up back in like in the ancient times, and when there was like the first Phoenix, and basically told her that, you have to face off with this adversary, and she went off to go do it. And I thought, okay, now we're gonna have a fight, and no, she's been some weird dimension, or is it the spirit world? I don't know, where she's married to this guy. She's got like an awesome job, being an artist, and she goes and saves. She doesn't want to save, like, she kind of doesn't want to be a hero anymore or something. She just wants to live a peaceful life and settle down and shit. But then it's also revealed that and this was in that Marvel Indigenous Voices book that came out last week or whatever. That River
story, was it?
Yeah, the River dude. There was a story about that River guy where he's been in cahoots with the adversary. The adversary's been like haunting him his whole life. He basically made a deal with them, like, hey, if you I'll bring your parents back or whatever if you get me to Echo. And so he's feeling conflicted about that. And then Forge is looking for Echo. And that's about it. And they still have not fought yet.
There's only one book left.
And there's only, this was disappointing. Yeah. I was like, yeah.
All right, so I guess we're done with Marvel. I'm moving on from Marvel. We're gonna go to DC. We're actually doing DC books again. Yeah. So the book I'm going to do is Superman, Son of Kal-El, number 7. Eli, did you get a chance to read this one?
I did, yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. Just in case I need your help on this one. A lot of people are pissed off about this, and I'll show you why people are pissed off in a second. Echo's big push and She-Hulk therapy saga. Yeah, that's shoky for you. Let's see.
Yeah, they're pushing Echo. Well, it'd be cooler if she'd have a cooler story. I'm just saying, man.
I guess it got something to build from. So yeah, people are pissed off because the cover of this Superman book, you got Superman and Aqualad, or Aquaman, whatever you want to call him, holding up the big signs about climate change and the season you change, stuff like that. And of course, just the fact that people are acknowledging climate change is real is enough to piss people off. So yeah, so that's the cover of the book. But yeah, to get into the book, let's just start off, see exactly what's going on. The book starts off with the Truth Podcast. They're talking about the Truth Podcast, and it's basically starting off that we're going to tell you a story about what happened. Now, before we start with the story, we just want to let you know that it was not Superman's fault. And you see Superman in a pile of bodies surrounded around him. And how did he get to this point? Well, we'll find out. So you got this big Leviathan coming out of the water and moving forward and stuff like that. So just gonna cut to that. Anyway, we got Superman's friend, Jay, basically saying like, you got to get the gab. Every time you say something, people pay attention to you. So how about you help me out do something? I'll help you out do something. So then they decide to go to this fisher boat, like on the outside of Metropolis, and he gives them a mask. He was like, look, I'm gonna give you a secret identity. When you come on this boat, you put this mask on, nobody would know who you are. Why? Because everybody else on this boat also had masks also. Everybody has anonymity. Nobody knows who they are. You can come and go as you please, and you can be completely fine. Meanwhile, you can come work for me for the truth. He wants them to work for his podcast. So, and yeah, so he meets people. People don't know who he is. He's wearing like a little domino mask. But that's when his like super senses go off. He was like, uh-oh, get this boat out of here right now. I got to go do something. So that's when the book starts off. You got Superman heading to Metropolis to do something. But before we go there, we got Gamora, which is the country of President Bendix, who's like the big bad of this Superman story so far. And what they realize that a monster is headed towards Metropolis, and he's like, yeah, this is the perfect opportunity right here. So he's like, I gotta make a phone call. Let me call Lex Luthor. So he calls Lex Luthor. He was like, look, a monster is headed your way right now, Lex. And Lex was like, yeah, I was about to get on it. He was like, and Bendix said, let me handle it. You're like, you need my people to you need me to get your people over here? He's like, yeah. So turns out that Lex Luthor stole a teleportation device from the Justice League, and that's how he's able to teleport these guys there, the one using the Watchtower. Now, it's actually a running gag between Lex Luthor and Bruce Wayne, is that obviously the Justice League Watchtower stuff is Wayne tech, and Lex Luthor knows how to hack into Wayne tech. So anything Wayne tech has, Lex Luthor can just steal that shit and use it for himself. But here's the thing. Batman knows Lex does that stuff. He lets Lex do it because if he ever needs to hack into LexCorp tech, since LexCorp tech is just bootleg Wayne tech, it's easy for him to hack his shit. So it's like a running gag they always do all the time. So yeah. But yeah, so you got the big Leviathan coming in. Superman is saving everybody, making sure that everybody's okay. And he was like, this big monster, let me go fight it. But his thing, he doesn't fight the monster. The monster isn't attacking anybody. He's just there in the water. And that's when, Calder comes out of the water, Aqualad, who's now Aquaman, and they see each other like, John, well, what you doing? What's going on? He like, can you talk to fish? He was like, I can, but they don't understand me. You're like, right. So that's going to be mean. So basically, what are we doing? Like, why is this big Leviathan Atlantis monster out here in Metropolis? And this one, Superman goes down to the bottom of the sea, and he realized that the whole water around where that monster came from, the whole water has been deoxygenated. There's no plant life down there. Nothing's growing. The monster gotten sick. So that's why the monster woken up, because the monster can't breathe. So, and then it's
this whole page is dope. Like,
which
just
one?
the one with the close up of the monster and shit, and Aqualad floating up. That's just dope.
It really is. They just made this monster look great. Like, I need to pay attention to who drew this, but yeah. So, and basically it's saying that's why the monster woke up and is going headed towards Metropolis, because it can't breathe down the water. Not only that, but the whole area around it, there's no plant life growing, and that base is like just a big desert. The reason it's a desert because the water has warmed in that area. There's an allusion to climate change. Basically, climate change is the reason that monster woke up. So they're like, okay, so we'll deal with the big problem. But
humans
first, look at
fucking up the environment is what creates monsters. It's the reason why Godzilla exists.
And that was back in what, the 50s?
The 50s, yes.
Right.
Again, this is nothing new, motherfuckers.
But people still get pissed off every time somebody talk about it.
Superman was always, remember the oil spill that Superman cleaned up, and was it Superman 3? where he
Right.
blew all the oil back into the fucking tanker and shit.
Right.
You know, yeah, this is nothing new, motherfuckers.
So what they did, since the monster isn't attacking anybody, they're like, okay, so what we're gonna do? Superman blows like an ice breath in front of the monster, to kind of like nudge him to not keep moving.
Mhm.
And then Aquaman does something to the current, the stream of the water, to make it like flow the opposite direction of the monster.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, so the monster kind of get the hint. Okay, I'll just leave.
So, yeah,
Okay,
basically
so
diverting the monster back out to sea.
yeah, kind of like maybe you should leave, and the monster just leave. Like, ain't nobody bother me. I'm gonna just leave until he gets hit. The Leviathan gets hit by the Gamora core. They get blasted by him. So they're like, what are you doing? We're doing what you should have did. We're stopping this threat, even though the monster hasn't attacked anybody.
Mhm.
So they blast the monster. Superman jumps in the way, gets hit, and he falls to the ocean. And okay, I got to talk about this panel for a second. This panel right here, DC, please, please, don't make this a thing. Don't do it. I know you're thinking it. I know it already exists.
They're gonna. Everybody's gonna. It's gonna be just a love triangle now.
Yes, don't do it.
I didn't think it, but
when I saw it, I thought it. I was just like, don't do it.
Man, you're doing this to me, man.
I'm not doing it. I'm just saying it's right there. I can't
I did not see
look
that.
at it. I'm like, I can't not look at it when
I
it's
was like,
right
oh
there.
shit, these motherfuckers. That's what I was thinking.
I'm just
He
saying
was like, they better not make out. They better not make out.
I'm just saying the fanfic exists already. As soon as I thought it, I already know it exists. That's just how the internet works. It's Rule 34. So moving on past that, but please, DC, don't do it. Don't do it. Please don't do it. But yeah. Because they will. They will. Anyway, the Gamora Corps, they all attack the Leviathan, and now the Leviathan is pissed. So it starts swatting at them, start knocking them back, and all of them get away except for one of them. One of them can't get away. The reason he can't get away is because Bendix and Jay is videotaping the whole thing. Bendix is controlling one of them. And he's like, no, we need to keep him in this place because we need this to happen. And what happens? He gets swatted out of the sky. Basically, just be like a bug on a windshield. Superman catches him before he hits the ground, but it's already too late. He's already done. So he's holding him top of Leviathan. The Gamora Corps look at one of their dead members, and Leviathan is looking at them pissed. The end. So yeah, this is I ain't gonna lie, that was an awesome story.
Cool.
I was like, that might be like the best Superman son of Kal-El out of this book so far. Just the fact that you have that conflicting terms. You're talking about climate change. You're talking about a fight that Superman can't win. And on top of that, we're starting to understand who are the real monsters.
And we got a giant monster.
And we got a giant monster. But the thing was, they flipped the script where the monster wasn't the villain.
Wasn't the villain. Yeah.
Right. So I was like, that's a well-told story.
Yeah. And then
in my opinion,
they can control these metas. This Bendix asshole can control the metas and shit.
Yeah, and they're doing it on purpose to kind of like, defraud Superman or defame Superman or whatever like that. But yeah, awesome book, man. Like everybody's hating on this book because of the woke agenda, whatever you want to call it like that. Just sit down and read the book, even though and some of the stuff I do feel like Tom Taylor is purposely trolling people.
Yeah.
But
it's
still also he's trolling me, but but at the same time, it's an awesome book. I can't knock it. Yeah,
it's a cool story. Yeah, that's what matters to me. Is give me a cool story, and I don't give a shit.
Right.
Make shit happen, and I, whatever. I don't give a shit about. Yeah, I see the climate change shit. I see the progressive elements. Yes, I don't give a fuck. I don't care. But you're giving me a good story, and sometimes, yes, sometimes there are stories where they are trying to push the message and push, basically hammer their opinion into you. And that makes for a boring story, a predictable
but most of the time, it's shitty writers doing that.
Yeah, but
meanwhile, Tom Taylor is one of the best guys we got out right now.
Yeah. I mean, hey, what up, Cam from Blurred Up? What up?
Oh, Blurred Up. What's going on, Cam? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't care. Like, you can have those ideas in there, and you're those themes in the story, but still give me a cool story and an entertaining story. And that's what this is. This was dope. Yeah. Superman fighting or not fighting, but a big giant monster, and him trying to come and save everybody and just doing Superman shit.
Right.
And like you said, the real monsters are the other assholes. So yeah, I thought it was great.
So, like I said, you can still tell a good Superman story.
Yeah, that might be my book of the week, or it might be this one. It might be this one too. So
all right, let's see what you got.
I got Nightwing 88.
Okay, another Tom
Taylor.
Right.
Tom Taylor, y'all.
Tom Taylor's killing it. Yeah.
Yeah. So let me get that image up. So yeah. So basically, about Tom Taylor, Nightwing. Dick is he is giving away Alfred's money that he inherited, and he's trying to start this home for at-risk youth. And he's basically going to the christening ceremony, to give a speech. The problem is Babs, she doesn't want him to go out in public. She's worried about him being killed because Blockbuster been trying to kill him. So she's worried about him going out in public, showing his real face. And of course, Blockbuster hires, I'm not familiar with these guys, Gun Bunny and Gun Hawk.
Okay, that's a deep cut. I'm not gonna pretend
Yeah.
like I know who that is.
Yeah, I didn't know. They're snipers, and they're there to shoot to kill Dick while he's giving.
And I'm sure they exist. They don't just make this shit up. So,
well, Gun Bunny what's that other book y'all were reading? You and Gomer, Gun Honey or Honey Gun?
Gun Honey. Yeah, but
Gun
that
Honey.
was Dynamite or some shit. I don't know.
Yeah. That's what it reminded me of. But yeah, some chick sniper, and then she's got a brother sniper. And anyways, they're trying to shoot Dick, but the Titans show up. Titans show up and save Dick. Kid Flash comes, takes him away. Says, "Yo, man, you can't be, what are you doing this shit in public? All that banter, And then they gave him a new suit. We have a new suit for you. Wally made you a new suit. It's got it's bulletproof. It's thin enough where you can wear it under your clothes anytime you need to, do the Superman thing where you rip open your shirt and all that shit, and you're still you got your costume on." So they get together, and then they end up fighting a bunch of after the two snipers failed. Blockbuster just said, "Okay, go in and just kill them." So he sends in a squad of mercs, and the Titans show up and they fight them and kick their asses. And then they said, "Okay, who's up to this?" Blockbuster. They go to Blockbuster. The Teen Titans just show up. It's like, "Okay, we know you put the hit out on Dick. We know we can't prove it because, you're a mob boss and that's your job to cover your tracks. But we know we can't prove it. But we know if anybody ever tries to fuck with Dick, we know it's going to be you. And we're coming for you." And Starfire gets right in his face. And she's talking all this shit to him. And Blockbuster's just like, yeah, because what's he gonna do to Starfire? Then meanwhile, what's that serial killer? Heartless. So that serial killer that's been going around ripping people's hearts out, he got to one of the snipers that Blockbuster hired and was like, "Yeah, you're not gonna kill Dick Grayson. I am." And he takes out his heart, and that's where it ends.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Okay. Wait, whose heart did he take out?
The sniper guy, the Gun
Gun Bunny or whatever.
Gun Hawk, yeah.
Gun Hawk, okay.
Yeah, they stopped. The Teen Titans stopped, grabbed the chick, Gun Honey or Gun Bunny, but the Gun Hawk guy escaped, and then he got captured by the serial killer guy. Said, "Yeah, you ain't killing Dick, I am," and then ripped out his heart, and that's where it ends. I was like, "Oh shit!" So this was fun. This was a lot of fun. Another 4 out of 5. Nightwing's been killing it. Tom Taylor has just been killing it on Nightwing. So,
Eli, I got one more book.
All right, because I'm booked out.
Are you? Okay. Normally it's vice versa. Yeah, normally. But I'm gonna do one more. Like I said, because I gotta do this one, even though we had a ton of other books I could have did. But we're gonna do Icon and Rocket.
Okay, I read this.
Matter of fact, it should have been my third book. I should have skipped one of those other books. But anyway, we're gonna go with that. On the cover of Icon and Rocket, I don't know if everybody can see it, but it shows Rocket and Static with a little love thing around, like a little heart around.
Oh yeah.
Them. Yeah.
I got
so
that
yeah.
cover, yeah.
So guest starring Static. Static is in this book also. We'll show you how much he's in it. So yeah, anyway, so we go to like Icon CIA handler. He blasts her. He's just like, look, I need information. Where's the Martian Manhunter? For people that haven't read this book, the Martian Manhunter is the big bad of this book. He's like Icon's worst enemy. That's the guy they've been chasing after the whole time. And yeah, so she like, look, we've been chasing after him. We don't know where he is. When we find him, we'll find out where he's at and we'll go from there. Yeah, and then we'll go there. Okay, anyway, he's meeting with Rocket, and he's basically saying that he's gonna meet with that Amazon chick. She may not be an Amazon, but yeah, that's what they're doing right now. And basically, until they find the Martian Manhunter, who's going around just trying to kill Icon, her mom is in, I guess, underwater or in a ship or somewhere like that. And she's just eating grapes, getting fanned by robots, stuff like that. She's like, look, let me know when you find him. Until then, I am good. I'm fine. You don't have to worry about me, you know. And yeah, that's the thing. So basically, she's telling them that the Martian Manhunter has killed 4 aliens so far since he's been on this planet. One of them including that Kryptonian baby. They're like, why? Because they thought he can grow up to be a dictator? Like, nah, even worse. They were scared he might be a peacemaker, which, you know, the government officials can't have that, you know. So he's getting ready to go meet that Amazon lawyer, whatever, like that. And she's like, oh, you going on a date? Like, no, I'm not going on a date, but how's my outfit look? You know. So he's like, look, don't worry about that. So she goes to class, she goes to school, and the teacher's basically kissing every superhero's ass. It's like, yeah, superheroes do all this thing. And they show us what a real utopia could be one day if we could continue on this track. And it looks like Icon is like still sending her, you know, asking for fashion advice, you know, and she like, get off your phone, Raquel, what are you doing? And she just like, see, if you paid attention, you would have read that last book I was talking about in your whole class. Ooh. She's like, well, if anything you said was true, I pay attention. They're like, ooh. She's like, oh, really? Okay, so tell me, what did I say wrong? And then, you know, one of the kids like live streams like that. Ooh, check this out. She about to serve the teacher. Watch what she's about to say. She's like, look. And she basically said what they've been doing for like the last 4 issues without saying it's them. Look, Icon and Rocket just waged a whole war on drugs. They even went overseas, went to the poppy fields where the drugs even came from, shut down the entire drug trade. And we actually made things worse when we did it, because now people that need drugs just to get by through the day, they're finding anything they can. They're sniffing glue, they're drinking Robitussin, they're smoking banana peels, they're inhaling balloons, whatever they can, just to get a high, just to make it through the day. So yeah, we won the war on drugs, but that didn't get rid of people's need for drugs. So people need them, plus the drugs that are still on the streets that we didn't get off. The prices of them are rocketing sky high because people are doing whatever they can to get their hands on them. People are dropping out of school. People are dropping out of losing their jobs because they can't make it through the day because they need drugs. Not to even talk about that pretty much the world economy runs on the illegal drug trade. They don't put those numbers on the books, but we all know it's the thing. So this is not a utopia. He's like, oh, I wasn't ready for that, you know. And then they keep talking. She was like, okay, first off, how do you know about all this stuff? Oh, and then she starts talking about stuff like, well, that's true and all like that, but my daddy got off drugs, you know, and he came back home to us. So everything you did, everything Rocket and Icon did wasn't bad, but it's good, you know. And the teacher's like, okay, how do you know all this stuff, Raquel? You know, well, who's your source? You know, and they got cameras all in the face, stuff like that. She's like, well, and then Static is her classmate in the class. Well, of course, you know where she got the information from. She was on Reddit. You know, she just went down that rabbit hole. She's like, oh, that's where you got the stuff from. Well, I'm not giving you credit for any of the stuff you just said because I want actual sources, and Reddit is not a real source. Remember, people, Reddit is not a source. You know, so anyway, we go to it, and then Static tries, shoot game at it. She's like, hey, I'm Virgil. She's like, I might need help with my classes. He just like, and she's like, he just straight up tell her, look, I know you're Rocket. I know that was you talking about yourself the whole time. I'm Static. And she's like, okay, cool. bye. Okay, and he thought that was supposed to like, well, I didn't know invisibility was one of my powers. He thought that was gonna be like some real game. You know, when you tell a chick your secret
Bond,
identity,
James
you know,
Bond.
yeah, you're supposed to just drop your panties. You know, I'm Batman. That's it. You know, but it didn't fall for like that. She just went like, so then her ex comes up. He's like, no, baby, I apologize. And he gives like a typewriter, stuff like that. The one he promised her in the first issue, he finally gives it to her. And then her boy, his friends were supposed to take Static out of this. Static like electrocuted their ass, shit like that. He's like, look, man,
Literally.
yeah, like, yeah, they're sitting there, smoke, you know, electric smoking out their ass. And they're basically like, they're about to get into it, you know, fight over her and stuff like that. She's like, no, look, yeah. And then another dude who's taller than them shows up. She's like, can you show me around class? She's like, thank you. And then she just walks away. She just leaves them to themselves, you know.
Yeah.
And
Dexter St. Jock.
basically, and then that's when Icon shows up at his non-date. And basically, like the Amazon, whatever her name is, she's just like, I'm glad you're here, Icon. I invited you here because I want to show you I can do more things than fight. You're like, oh, really? You're like, well, aren't you a lawyer? Like, I'm a lawyer too. Like, yeah, we both can do a lot of things other than fighting, you know. And then they look at her, he look at her. She's like, Icon, are you thinking about the Martian Manhunter right now? Like, wait, what? Yeah, I can read your mind. I know you're thinking about him. Like, and basically, I'm gonna go past all this. They get called, and they basically some terrorists are fighting on the Dakota Bridge. So Icon and the Amazon chick, they go fight, and they're like, we don't need Rocket. Rocket can stay where she's at. She's supposed to be in school anyway. And she's basically talking to this boy, and the boy just like, look, my parents, you know, got this lake house over here. Why don't you come with me and we sneak out of class, we just go somewhere? And Rocket's like, okay. She's like, I'm a superhero. There ain't nothing this boy can do to me anyway. But at least give me a chance to get out of here. You know, so and he's driving I think that's a Porsche 911, I think. My cars may be off, but yeah. In which she goes to the lighthouse. Icon and an Amazon chick are fighting all these terrorists, stuff like that. They beat the shit out of them. But before they beat the shit out of them, one of the ninja terrorist guys blows up the bridge. Well, of course, we know that Icon and the other chick aren't dead. But yeah, so Dakota Bridge is gone, you know. Meanwhile, while they're in the lake house, they're drinking, you know, having a good time. And then he says, oh, yeah, this place doesn't belong to my parents. It belongs to the government. She's like, what? Oh, and and it turns out it's the Martian Manhunter. He like, and that's why they tell you never take drinks from a stranger. And it's a trap. So, yeah, to be continued. And I think the next issue might be like the last. I think it's just 6 issues with these milestone books. Because they already said that the static book is wrapped up already, even though it hasn't technically wrapped up. But I think it's just going to be 6 issues, and they're going to decide what they're going to do from there. So, yeah. But, no, I'm digging this. Out of the milestone books, Icon is head and shoulders above every other book they have going right now. So, yeah, I'm into it. And I like the stuff that they're bringing at the existential crisis, stuff like that. Icon right coming to HBO Max. I don't think so. It might. They hadn't said anything about it yet. But yeah, so the fact that the whole book started off with the war on drugs and how the war on drugs got screwed up. They actually deal with the problem. Why didn't Icon stop slavery? A lot of time with these superhero books, anytime it's a black superhero, they ignore those problems. They straight up said why he didn't, because the Martian Manhunter tried to kill him, you know. So yeah, I'm digging it.
Yeah, it
but
really
other than
points
that,
out that these are very complex problems.
Right, that you can't punch your way out.
You can't punch your way out of. Yeah, you can't just punch a solution. So yeah.
So I do like that. I do like that same thing that we were dealing with Son of Kal-El, and the same thing we're dealing with Icon. Icon isn't strong enough to stop the war on drugs. He's not, you know. But yeah, like I said, I'm booked out. If you listen this long, if you like, share, subscribe. Like I said, we have other podcasts. We have this Geeks and Comics. We have Get Valiant. We have that may be it. Oh, appreciate everybody checking out the Guardians of the Galaxy stream. I'm gonna just give you this before we get out of here. Eli, this thing has gotten, the last one I did was like 2,000 views on
Is
the
that
Facebook
Fing
page.
Fang Foom?
Yes.
No shit.
He's one of the boss fights, but he's in there. But this is after the boss fight where like Lady Bellbender is riding him, and yeah, so she's like helping him storm the castle like that. And I just love this part right here. Watch this. This is the most metal shit that they've ever done at the Guardians, man. So he like grabs.
But what song was playing?
I had to turn it off because I was streaming. That's the thing. Yeah, so I don't know the song I'm saying.
It
But
better not
but
be Bon Jovi, damn it.
okay, but I'm gonna ask you, Eli, what song should be playing?
For Guardians of the Galaxy?
No, that scene I just played.
Okay.
Because whatever you name, I'm gonna make a video and I'm putting that song on there. So you're helping me out with this.
Well, I gotta think now. I'll keep it classic.
Okay.
Something with a dope riff that just comes in. I gotta think on this. Like,
okay,
I'm thinking Black Sabbath, but now I might go with Judas Priest. I don't know.
that's cool. Whatever you think of, hit me up offline.
It's gotta
Hit me
be a
up offline
sweet
after
ass
the
riff,
podcast.
though.
Yeah, because whatever you give me, I'm making that a GIF or a GIF, whatever you want to call it. Yeah.
All right.
Okay. And I may debate next week. No, I can't do that on the podcast because we get flagged if I play music. But just let me know and we'll go from there.
Not if you play my band. No.
Shameless plug. All right. But yeah, check us out next week. We'll be here. Until then, this is Leroy.
This is Eli.
We'll talk to you guys next week. Same bullet time, same bullet channel.
I get hot like a skillet. Thinking about money in the billing. On the phone with the lender and I'm living. If the bank had a cap, I would peel it. Like really, trying to get millions. Get a bigger high view so vivid. A couple cars, it could raw chrome really. You think materials make me sound silly? Like really? How are you so good? I'm so good. How are you so good? You say we don't need that money. You say we don't need that money. I'm so good. You say we don't need that money. You say we don't need that when money. I get hot like the summer. When the AC on the light field turn up. You wanna cuddle when I think I might burn up. I'm feeling lucky, so I might play the numbers. I'm on the come up, gotta get mine before the asshole tech folk run up. I need a 10, 20, 50s, and 100s. Don't you think being rich sound fun? I wonder, how are you so good?